All right, man, we're going to talk a little bit about Detroit Lion. The first Detroit Lion to opt out was his name, John Atkinson. He been here for a couple seasons, and ironically, he started off on the Patriots practice squad. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about Kenny Galloday not making the top 100 and Detroit Lions being shut out of the top 100. Besides, Darius Slay moving on from the Eagles, he debuted at 90-something. So hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video, and talk about Kenny Galloday. All right, I did some fact checking. A few receivers ahead of him: Larry Fitzgerald, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, Allen Robinson, even Amari Cooper had significantly less stats than him or less stats than him. Some of the dudes had more receptions, but nobody had more touchdowns. Obviously, he led the league in touchdowns and more yards. And Amari Cooper had his quarterback the whole year. Larry Fitzgerald had significantly less stats: 800 receiving yards, 54 receptions, 8 TDs above Kenny Galloday. Odell Beckham had, I think, less yards and less TDs. Jarvis Landry had less yards and TDs. Some of these dudes had more receptions, but you got to remember, they had Baker the whole year. Larry had Kyler the whole year. Who else we talked about? Cooper had Dak the whole year. Cooper Kupp, he had, I think, more receptions but less yards and less TDs. He had Jared Goff the whole year. What you got to understand is Kenny Galloday did it with Stafford for about half the season, and then he did it with Driscoll and David Blogg, and it's DK Metcalf. He had better stats than him, way better stats. Metcalf didn't reach 1,000 receptions, 1,000 receiving yards. He had better stats than Tyler Lockett. You know what I'm saying? And all these dudes was ranked over him, and they didn't deserve to be ranked on him. And don't forget, he's done it 2 years in a row, where I think he had 5 or 6 touchdowns last year, but he had over 1,000 yards, and he had, I think, more receptions the year before last. So, like I said before, one of the bad things about playing with the Lions is that when you don't win and you don't get those national televised games, people don't know how good you are. And Kenny Galloday is getting looked over by dudes in his division that he better in, dudes in his conference that he better in, dudes in other conferences that he better in. And, obviously, Bob Quinn gave him a start, but Bob Quinn ain't put enough around him for them to win and get on that stage and him to get his accolades, man. But he's still young, but he's an animal. And unfortunately, he got better stats than a lot of the dudes that we named. He has scored more touchdowns and more receiving yards. He was 10 yards from having 1,200 yards. And, we could play if it was a fifth, we all be drunk. If he had Stafford, you would expect 15, 16, 17 TDs? You probably see 1,500 receiving yards. You probably see over 80 or almost 100 receptions. And then how can they deny him? And one of the bad things that hurt him, other than the franchise not winning and going on a historic loser streak damn near, was Stafford being out. Now, talk about Stafford, then you had Ryan Tannehill make it before Stafford did. You know what I'm saying? You had Carson Wentz. You had Kirk Cousins making a lot of dudes making, and obviously Stafford only played half the year. That hurt him, but other guys that could have made the list. Some people might think Trey Flowers could have made the list. Other than that, maybe you could make a case Marvin can make the list, but the Lions just don't have a lot of top end talent that's developed. A lot of things we waiting on is, Carry On or DeAndre Swift, Jelani Tavai, Tracy Walker developing, Okuda developing. Deshaun Hand would be a top 100 player if he was healthy. So it's a lot of ifs there, and they haven't really, drafted a lot of top talent, and they've been very, very conservative. You can make a case Ragnow should have been on the top 100 player list, but I think it's coming. It's harder to see centers on there as well. But, to be honest, we got to win. But Bob Quinn hasn't took no risks in the draft. Even taking a corner, that was very conservative. You know what I'm saying? The quarterback would have made a splash, but, this is what happened when you play safe in the draft and you don't go for the big name players. You don't go try to move up and get the guys, and you try to just pick safe. And to be honest, nobody else deserves but Kenny Galloday to be on this list because Stafford was injured last year. But do I think Stafford better than Tannehill? Yeah, but at the end of the day, you can make a case for Stafford should be on the list because Todd Gurley on the list, and Todd Gurley didn't do nothing last year. Larry Fitzgerald on the list, and his numbers was terrible. So, but when you don't win, Larry and Todd both been to the Super Bowl. When you don't win, you get forgotten. So, it is unfortunate. I believe Galloday should have been the one that should have been on the list, and he should have been in the 50s. To be honest, he should have been in the 40s. To be honest, I think Devontae Adams was the first receiver that I think that was probably legit better than him. I know he had his injury issues last year, and he played with his quarterback, but like I said before, man, this is one of the reasons why and Dominican Sue wanted more money to stay in Detroit because I'm not getting the notoriety that I'm supposed to get because we losing. So when the Lions put up a winner and they continually and they win year in and year out, then you'll see people start to want to take a pay cut to play here. So, if I'm Kenny Galloday, man, we talking about a contract. I need top receiver money because I'm playing here. So it's hurting my brand. I'm one of the 5 or 7 or 10 best receivers in the league, and my stats are like damn near better than Chris Godwin's stats. And he had his starting quarterback the whole year. You know what I'm saying? My stats are better than the whole league, and I'm being forgotten because I'm playing in this system or in this team, in this organization that's feeling trying to put a winner on the field. And it's very, very unfortunate that, he got to go through this traumatic experience and not getting the shine. But, he had COVID and then find out you ain't on the top 100, which it don't really probably matter to him, but you want that recognition. You know what I'm saying? And it just shows you how far the Lions actually are to putting talent on the field. You know what I'm saying? So they got to find a way to win. But they don't have enough impactful players. And that's what ESPN has been saying. That's what, a lot of the other publications have been saying. They don't have enough impactful players, and we got to find a way to, to really develop the ones that can be. And winning brings that, Deshaun Hen, Tracy Walker, you know what I'm saying? Hawkinson, I believe, is going to be an impact player. I still believe in Johnson. I believe Swift can. So, you got Galloday, you got Matthew Stafford. So, when you win, you started to kind of get that recognition. If the Lions win next year, you'll see a bunch of Lions on the top 100. But it's voted by the players, but I just don't understand that. How can people ignore him and what he done? But when you lose like 15 or 16 straight games or whatever it was, 12 straight games, whatever it was, and then when you continue on and you're not on Monday, Sunday night, Thursday night football like that, people are just going to tend not to remember. And, you see what he did. His degree of difficulty was a little bit difficult with Blog and Driscoll. And also, they going out here saying the Lions had the most bad throws last year. And people trying to make it seem like it was Stafford. Y'all forget Driscoll and Blog also played for the team as well, too. So it's amazing that he got that many receptions and yards and touchdowns under the circumstances, and also playing with a couple other good receivers in Amendola and Marvin Jones Jr. So, it is what it is, man. It hurts your soul to see a guy like Kenny Galloday get passed up and not get his recognition. But it just shows you, I think he deserved to be on the list. But it just shows you that, with no Lion making the list, it just shows you how far they actually are talent-wise in the National Football League eyes. So they don't have no talent offensively, no major talent offensively. They don't have none defensively. So to me, it's truly, truly unfortunate, man. But it is what it is. But statistically and with they circumstances, Robinson wasn't better. Odell, Jarvis, Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper, DK, Tyler Lockett, Larry Fitzgerald, all 8 of them that I can remember off the top were not better than that made it over him, was not better than Kenny Galloday last year. So that's just my opinion. I'm going to stick with that, man. And, it's unfortunate, man, but hopefully he get back to health from the COVID. And, hopefully get back to scoring touchdowns, man. But let's move on, man. We have, was it John Atkinson? He was from Georgia. He was undrafted. Ironically, he came from the Patriots organization off their practice squad. He was supposed to be vying for the backup nose tackle position versus Danny Shelton. He didn't play much in 2018. He played a little bit more in 2019. We had some injuries, and he's opted out of this season. So it just seemed like it's the scheme or the string of Patriot or former Patriot players opting out. Patrick Shun, Dante Hightower, a few other guys, Nate Soldier, we should be at the Patriots, and not Atkinson, whatever his name is. So the Lions had an 89-man roster, a 90-man roster, because they chose not to split down to 80, where they can have all their players practice together. So now with them holding 90, the rookies got to practice separate from the veterans, and the strength and conditioning. And then by the time they get to almost padded practices, then they have to cut it down to a certain number for real. But now they down to 89. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think anybody is batting an eye. I don't think one major player has stepped out that make everybody say, damn, I know Marquise Goodwin stepped out. But if it's a Brady, a Breeze, a Saquon, a Gurley has talked about possibly doing it if it's not enough safety, Russell Wilson, if some of those dudes do opt out, then I would be very, very concerned about the safety protocol of the season being in jeopardy. But they know if they opt out that there's going to be consequences and repercussions coming back. So should be an interesting season. I don't think John Atkinson was going to make a difference at all. But could this be a string of guys that we couldn't see opting out because we have a few guys that's on the COVID injured reserve list, a rookie safety, Amani Arakwe, TJ Hawkinson, Kenny Galloday. I think it was 4 of them, it might have been 5. So, at least those 4 is on the list. And then, they testing again today, and then they test again Friday. And if you test negative for the, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're allowed to come into the facility for training camp. So that's the thing about it. So hopefully we don't get any more bad news about anybody testing positive. But him opting out, I don't have any malice or any ill will towards him opting out. He do what's best for his family, he do what's safe. I'll never judge a man for doing what's best for his health and what's best for his family. So, a lot of people probably going to be, oh, F him, he's a nobody, he's done this, not. We don't care about him. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of y'all sitting at home that chose not to go to work or chose opt out of work and try to get that unemployment because, quote unquote, it's not safe, or you have health issues. And him being a bigger guy and being an obese guy, that makes him more susceptible, according to studies, to getting the COVID-19. So I respect his wishes. Hopefully, we see him back next year on the field. Hopefully there is next year in most of our futures. Also, Larry Warford, former Detroit Lion, a hopeful free agent, we could sign, is opted out of this season. But the one thing about big fellas opting out is if you're not going to stay on your weight, you're not going to stay working out real hard, it's easy to go from sitting out a year to, not being able to come back and retire. BJ Rossi sat out a year, probably got big and fat, chose not to come back to the Packers. So for Warford and Atkinson and any other offensive and defensive linemen and big guys who opting out, just think about it. This might be it because you may get so far out of shape that you can't get back into shape. So they got to stay on their P's and Q's. But let me know what you guys think about Galloday and No Lions being on the top 100. Let me know what you think about this Atkinson guy. Atkins, whatever his name is, opting out. And does it matter? Do you care? Don't forget the NBA come back on today. I think it's the Pelicans and the Jazz at 6:30. And then after that, it's the Clippers and the Lakers. I know LeBron is on the injury report, and I also know Anthony Davis is on the injury report. He had a sore groin. LeBron again, and Anthony Davis has a messed up eye. So, hey, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Check out our Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you got business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. All my social media links in the description. Want to make a donation, Cash App, PayPal subscription. Best way to donate is share the video. Mercy Sports Talk. We gone.